Some of the best parts about games, some of the most genre-defining mechanics, were mistakes. Not inspired by, not iterated on, mistakes, errors, bugs. Code doing something it wasn't supposed to. A developer noticing and then deciding, actually, leave that in. So here are 5 mechanics that were never meant to exist. Number 5, Skyrim's Giants. You know the one, you walk up to a giant thinking you're a big deal because you're the Dragonborn, and it swings a club, and the next thing you know, you're simply gone, into the sky, out of the atmosphere. You are now a satellite. And that was never by design. What's actually happening is that the engine takes any damage over the amount needed to kill you, and turns the leftover into physical force. And a giant hits so hard that the excess damage just gets spent on velocity instead. So it's not an animation, it's math. The giant kills you so thoroughly that the game runs out of dead and starts spending it on launching you. Bethesda found it and they left it in, and I think that's the right call. At number 4, the Creeper, the most recognizable thing in the best-selling game of all time. The face that's on Lunchbox's t-shirts exists because Notch typed the wrong numbers in. He was trying to make a pig. He was building the models in code and he mixed up the dimensions, swapping the length and the height. So instead of a short, wide, fat pig, he got this tall, thin, standing up thing. A pig rotated 90 degrees into a nightmare. But instead of fixing it, he looked at the weird upright creature and thought, no, that's something. Made it green, made it sneak up on you, and made it explode. An entire generation is scared of a sound because a man got the width and the height the wrong way around and decided to keep it. Number 3, rocket jumping. The rocket launcher in Quake was for shooting people. That's it, that's the design. But players figured out that if you aim at your own feet and jump at the same time, the explosion throws you across the map. It's stupid, it hurts you, it's great. Now, I'll be fair here because someone's going to correct me. Quake wasn't technically the first. Doom had it, Marathon had it, yes, that Marathon. But Quake is where it stuck, and Quake is where it went from weird thing you can do to something the community actually built around. It became a skill. And it's a physics oversight, plain and simple. The game had no idea you were launching yourself. It just applied explosive force to whatever happened to be standing there. And what happened to be standing there was you. Then it stopped being an exploit and became infrastructure. Team Fortress 2 built an entire class around it. Level designers started making maps that assumed you'd do it. Nobody pitched, what if you hurt yourself to move faster in a meeting? Player just tried it and it worked. Number 2, and to be fair, this one isn't a mechanic, it's a genre. In the late 90s, Hideki Kamiya was making Resident Evil 4. You heard that right. The game that became Devil May Cry started out as a Resident Evil sequel, and it drifted so far from the survival horror that Capcom eventually spun it out into its own thing. But that's the famous half of the story. What happened is, on the same floor at Capcom, a different team was building Onimusha, and during a test play, Kamiya saw a bug. If you hit an enemy fast enough, they'd stick in the air, just floating there, getting hit. He went straight over to one of the programmers and said, I want to hit enemies and see them fly into the air. And that programmer happened to already be building an auto-targeting system for guns. So you put those two things together, enemies that hang in the air and guns that track them on their own, and that's Devil May Cry's combat. Launch them with a sword, keep them up there with gunfire, never let them touch the ground. And that didn't just make one good game, it made the character action genre. Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden, God of War, every game where you keep something airborne and the letter grade goes up in the corner, all of it traces back to a bug in a completely different game that one guy happened to walk past. Devil May Cry exists because Onimusha was broken. Number 1, combos. Not a combo, combos. All of them. Every combo in every fighting game ever made. When Street Fighter 2 was in development, you could cancel the animation of one move partway through and start the next one, which meant that if you were fast enough and precise enough, you could land a hit the other player physically could not react to, and then another one, and then another one. That wasn't the plan. The plan was to hit each other, and each hit was its own separate thing. You know, a civilized sport. Capcom found it, and instead of patching it out, they built the entire rest of the genre on top of it. One of the biggest skill expressions of fighting games, learning the timing, the links, the cancels, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, King of Fighters, all of it, the tournaments, the decades of competition, the thing that separates someone who's good from someone who's genuinely great, all of it grew out of an animation bug in one game in 1991. And it's the most important mechanic in an entire genre. It's the thing the whole genre is about, and nobody sat down and designed it. It was an accident that Capcom was smart enough not to fix. And that's the thing about all of these. None of them were designed, they were found. Somebody made a mistake, it was noticed, and it was decided, nah, leave that in.